the Rishus of the ladies, distinguished Rebbitzins, and all those associated with the great palace of Torah that is the Telshe Yeshiva. For the last few decades, I have served as a community rabbi on a small island about 463 miles east of here. They call it Manhattan. And a couple of miles south of where I live, there's a little square where the new year is announced on December 31st at midnight. And they say that more people visit that little square than any other place on earth. I have no idea if it's true or not. But I know that the Upper West Side Jewish community gets more of the fundraisers of the world coming there to visit than anywhere else. So I became a bit of a connoisseur of visitors of Rabbanim and Rosh Yeshiva. And one of the most treasured visitors is the distinguished Harbutz HaTorah Award, Rav Goyen Rav Yankel Shlita, whose son is a neighbor of ours, and as a result, we have come to know him well. Let me tell you a little story that I heard from one of the earlier visitors. About 30 years ago, I used to receive regular visits from Agun HaTzadik Reb Simcha Wasserman, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. And it was a little awkward. Here I was, a very young rabbi at the time, and Reb Simcha would sit across the table and talk to me just as if I was his personal friend. So I felt I would be committing a crime if I didn't make him tell me some good stories. So I said, tell me, what was it like when your father, the Heilige Reb Elchanan Wasserman, would go off on a trip to raise money in America? He said, let me tell you something. He was very reluctant to go. And people would come to him and say, the Bachrim in the yeshiva are starving. There's nothing for them. And you have admirers who've heard about you all over the world. You have to travel and do something for the yeshiva. And he tried to talk his way out of it. And eventually it got to Bor Mayim Ad Nefesh, and he had to go. And he finally said, okay, I don't like to miss out on giving shir, but if I have to go, I have to go. And at that point, the Rebbitzin mixed in. Reb Simcha said his mother opened her mouth to say her thing, and she said, you'll go, but you're not going wearing those boots. And Reb Elchanan looked down at his boots, which were a mess of patches and stitches, and they'd been revived with Trias HaMesim many times over. And he said, you know, they've been freshly repaired. I mean, what's... She said, no. You're going to America to raise money, you wear decent boots. We're getting you a new pair of boots. And he gave a krechts at the waste of resources, but he reluctantly agreed. He's not only going, but he's going with new boots. As I see it, a gathering like this is a little bit that kind of occasion. The Rosh Yeshivas get together, and certainly honorees like Rav Cohen and his mishpacha say to themselves, what a pity, I could be sitting in the Beis Medrash learning. But like Rav Elchanan, who said, you know, if one has to in order to keep the yeshiva afloat, I'm willing to go against the grain. So this is his approach. He makes this kind of a sacrifice to sit through a banquet reluctantly, because that's what it takes to make the yeshiva succeed, that we should all get involved in supporting this Mitzvah HaTorah. You know, over the years, as I said, I met many Rosh Yeshivas, Tzadikim. I met Oiske B'Tzorchei Tzibur Be'emunah. I met people who are very dedicated to the moistus they work for. But once in a while, there's someone whose enthusiasm for Torah in mitzvahs and Gemilas Chasadim is over the top. and that is my good friend Mordecai Cohen. And through him, I've got to know not only his brothers, I also know his sister and brother-in-law, and I've got to know the distinguished Rebbitzin who spent more time than she wanted to in our community. What remarkable people. Rebbitzin Cohen is a good partner to her husband. He's a living legend, a one-man, non-digital encyclopedia, an ever-charging dynamo of learning. But his mother, Morty explained to me, will challenge criminals in any court. Crooks and judges alike quake at her arrival in the courtroom. But when it comes to the home, she says, everything that my husband should be able to sit and learn. This is really a remarkable thing. I can't discuss, I cannot find the words to explain the geoiness of Rav Cohen, because he stuns me by having little kuntresimlach that he pulls out whenever he comes on a visit. And there are kuntresimlach not just on Nashim Nazikin, but on all kinds of sugyas, b'chol chadrei HaTorah. He'll go from cloning, or as I thought I would say, from A to Z, algebra of Erevin, all the way through to mekachtos of zirconium. He has everything in between. I want to say over a word that I heard from my Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Leib Gurovitz, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. He would say, Eitz chayim hi lamachzikim bo v'soymcheho me'usha. There are two people who participate in Hachzokes HaTorah. There are machzikim and there are toimchim. He says, now the toimchim, they feel a little bit sorry for the Torah. They feel the Moistus HaTorah always struggling. And we don't want them to go under because, you need them. So they say, that Torah is kind of struggling and I could help a little bit. So I'll be a toimech. I'll make sure it doesn't fall. There are others who say, machzikim. I want to give strength to the Torah and I want to take strength from the Torah. I don't just want to help. I want to be a part of it and it should be a part of me. And the Pasuk promises very different rewards. The Toimech, he doesn't really get it. He thinks the poor Torah is not going to manage without him, without his bit of help. So he gets a reward. Moshe, he'll be happy. But those who understand that it's Eitz Chaim, that it's Eitz Chaim Lamachzikim, that this is not a thing which absorbs your resources. This is the source of all the resources. This is where strength comes from. It will be for them an Eitz Chaim. As I see it, all of us tonight, when we gather together to pay tribute to such a remarkable Marbitz Torah, Oisik Goris Beraisa Tadira, such a remarkable personality involved in learning from first thing in the morning till late the next night, all his life, and we see how Harav Cohen does not age from it. On the contrary, he seems to get stronger as time goes by. He's on the same brutal, back-breaking schedule now that he was on 50 years ago. Then we see the Torah is the source of life. And by being here, we are the machzikim. We are the ones who derive our strength and the meaning of our existence from the Torah. Then certainly it will be an Eitz Chaim, and it will be Mogin or Matzli. It will help all of us and all those who are gathered in this fabulous mitzvah of paying tribute, Mivtza Torah Telshe Rosh Yeshiva, and specifically to the Arbotzes HaTorah awardee tonight.
I'm a theme for many exaggerations. I would like to thank everyone who came here on my behalf to support the Yeshiva, my family, my friends, Amidim. I just hope one thing, that no one came here really to give me COVID. Because COVID, I've been preaching, people know me, I've been preaching for the last 50 years. COVID is a very dangerous thing. Zal told us, Akino, Taiba, about COVID, was seen as oil. So COVID is a very dangerous thing. If you want to give someone COVID, when seen, you're putting him in danger. Then I remember there's a Gemara in Bava Basra. Now, if you know the base. Gemara says like this. The Gemara says that Shalom asked Shlema. They asked Shlema Melech. He said, who's going to get Olam Haba? He said, Omar Lehem, because Shekinegdoi Zikainov COVID. So Rashi says, this is more or less the Lashon Rashi, Oisim Shechokim Lehem COVID, Loinu Mazeh, Makmes, Chokmes, Kaino. Someone who people give him COVID, he's going to get Olam Haba. Seems to be a little strange. First we're saying, if you get COVID, you're in a bad shape. I say you're in a sarcoma. So now we're saying, you get COVID, you get Olam Haba. So I think the pshat is that if people give someone COVID because of his Torah, they're giving COVID to the Torah. So it comes out, the person created, he caused this COVID on Torah. So he's going to get credit because he caused COVID on Torah. So I'm happy that everyone came, not to give me COVID, but to give COVID to the Torah. I said, I've been in Yeshiva for many years. I learned a little bit. So I said, people give the COVID to the Torah that I learned, so I'm very happy. Because I'm going to get a lot of credit. So the more COVID you give, not to me, but you give to the Torah, I'm very happy because I'm going to get some credit. The truth is, for another reason, there's no reason to give me COVID. Because the Mishnah says, person learns, al-taksib toibel atzmo. The person learns, there's no big deal, you're supposed to learn. Look at Catholics are though. You were created to learn Torah. So what's the big deal? Person learns Torah, so he doesn't deserve any credit, he didn't do anything special. This is a thing he has to do. So there's no reason to give a person COVID because he learned Torah. And besides, learning is the biggest pleasure in the world. Learning is geschmack. Learning is geschmack. The person learns Torah, he gets a gewaltig handlaw. So there's no reason to learn that he deserves any COVID. It's a geschmack. There's really a little loneliness over here. So really there's a big shayla in the Meforshim. There's a thing called that mitzvahs lav lahenesnikum. Mitzvahs were not given to derive pleasure. But it's a big shayla. Some saying that Torah is different. Torah was given to derive pleasure. Some say no, that mitzvahs were not given for pleasure. Mitzvahs were given to do avodas Hashem. That's the point of a mitzvah. Torah was given, according to some, to have the hana, to enjoy it. Some say no. Torah also was given also just for avodas Hashem. But everyone agrees that when a person learns Torah, he gets hana. It says, Kudei Hashem Yishorim V'Sam Kalei. So whether there is a hana, a gewaltige pleasure, when someone learns Torah. So the truth is, there's no reason why anyone who learns Torah deserves COVID. But the Maisa, you give COVID, you want to give COVID to the Torah, that I'm very happy about. So the truth is, even though I don't deserve any COVID, but my wife, Ruthie, she deserves COVID. obligated to learn. So it's no big deal. And he has to learn, so what's the big deal? A lady, she's not obligated to support her husband. Baruch Hashem, she supported me for many years. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much, Ruthie. But she claims, she tells me, that I should give her the covet. Really, the covet really deserves to her teachers in Beis Yaakov. Rabbi and Rebbetzin Kaplan, who taught her, gave her this here idea and cheshik to support her. They really deserve the covet. So we want to mention them. And as a fact, I want to mention also my Rebbeim who gave me and sent me to the Yeshiva. I have my Rebbe, Rabbi Yankel, who was my Rebbe in Chicago. He encouraged me to go to the Yeshiva. And we have to give our course at Tov to my parents, my mother and father. Also sent me to learn Torah. You have to give our course at Tov to the Yeshiva, Telshe Yeshiva. All my Rebbeim in Telshe Yeshiva, my friends, and my Talmidim. All I owe our course at Tov to all of them. I just want to say a small Dvar Torah about Torah. There's a famous Mishnah in the Seftas Peah. The Mishnah says, "Elu Borim she'olam eichel periseim boim mazeh ba'ker kiyam salavo." So the Mishnah says there are a few things people aim minas chasodim abo shalom beinom l'chaver salvator connected to him. So the Gemara explains what is so unique about these mitzvahs more than anyone the other mitzvahs. For it says because these mitzvahs are bein odom l'chaver. If a person does a regular mitzvah, he does his obligation he has to the Beit Shalom. These, besides, in every mitzvah bein odom l'chaver, you have the bein odom l'chaver, and you have bein odom l'moker. So Rabbi Chana was right here, he's listening, hopefully. He asked the kasha. He says, okay, these mitzvahs, we understand, the bein odom l'chaver. But how does Talmud Torah fit in? How does Talmud Torah fit in? Talmud Torah, the verse, the thing, a person that wants to have to bein odom l'chaver. So Rabbi Chana says, a nice lumnus. He said the lumnus is, there's a word that says the world is niskayim with divrei Torah. Because he has a whole shtickle, there's a famous word that the people, no one in the world would be learning Torah, the world would cease to exist. So it comes out when a person is learning Torah, he's helping mankind. But without his learning, the whole world would just disappear. That is his teretz. I would like to say a different teretz, a simple teretz. The point when a person does mitzvahs, okay, he did a mitzvah, is avodas Hashem. Do a mitzvah, avodas Hashem, so you want to know, so the person, the occupation is going to give him a scar for a mitzvah. So he gets a certain reward. In mitzvahs, he gets a certain reward. They're saying if he does a mitzvah, they don't have so he gets a special reward. These are all rewards. By Torah, the fact that the Torah, the mindset that he's going to get his scar in Olam Hazeh is not because of a reward. Torah itself is kihem chayenu v'erekabenu. Chayim Olam nota b'sochenu. The Torah itself gives him life. It's not a side issue of a certain scar he's going to get. Learning Torah, it's like a person is mindset, he's nourishing himself with the Torah. So it's an automatic thing. This, I think, is a simple teretz to this here question. I just want to add that, Maisa, you mentioned before, that COVID is a very detrimental, very big sakona. It's a dangerous thing. And what is the danger? It seems from the Gemara, the main danger of COVID is that you become addicted. The Gemara says, some places, the Menachos, that Shaul HaMelech, he didn't want to become Melech. But once he became Melech, he couldn't go to Malchus, and when he felt that David was a rival, he even wanted to kill him. So that's why COVID is a very dangerous thing. So just misfollow to the Beis Shalom. that this COVID that we have over here tonight doesn't go to my head, and I don't want to keep staying at the podium and not let you go, because once you're up here, you can't let go. So that's my tefillah to Rebbeinu Shalom, that it shouldn't go to my head, and should leave it as is.
I'm doing a video. Give a bracha to them. Amen.
I have to save the kids here. I had all my requests for a couple hours, but we'll let you. We're talking about, Matan Torah, Shavuos is Matan Torah, Shishaydev, Matan Torah was like an Erison or La Chuppah. So after a lot of research, I came up, I saw it seems that there are 6 possible times when we had a relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom like a chuppah. Some say that right away at the time of Kofalim Harkagigas, the fact that we were by Aseres Hadibros, we came to Sinai, it was Kofalim Harkagigas, that itself became a chuppah. Now there's a famous Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, everyone knows part of it, but I just read you part of what he says. It's very famous, Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer says that, I have his lashon over here. One second. The Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer says that, this is more or less his lashon. Vayotze Moshe lemachli Yisrael v'hayim ma'orei. So there's a famous Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. He came, Moshe Rabbeinu came out of Israel, and he woke him up from their sleep, and he says, "Oh, man, we should ask him, get up from your sleep." The chosin is coming to be for the kala. So you see clear. The Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer says the chosin is the Rebbeinu Shalom. He's waiting for Klai Yisrael. Klai Yisrael is sleeping. He's waiting for the kala to come to chuppah. So he says, clear. There was a chuppah here, and that took place right at this time. That's one side. Now, where else could it be a chuppah? There's another pasuk in Parshas Ki Sisa. The pasuk says, it says, it says, when Moshe gave the Luchas Rishaynis to Klai Yisrael, it says, Rashi over there also, he says, the Lashon Kalis is the Lashon Kala. So that's also, I see in some portion learned that was Mamash a chuppah. So that's the second time that the chuppah could have taken place, when the Rebbeinu gave the Luchas Rishaynis. Second time. The third time, there's a mission in Tainus. Famous mission says, it says over there, the mission means the pasuk said, random, Yerushalayim, B'yom Chasanasei. So Rashi says, what is B'yom Chasanasei? Yom HaKippurim. Yom HaKippurim is the Yom HaChasna. What happened in Yom Kippur? That's when the Rebbeinu gave us the Luchas Shnias. So that could be a second time when we're considered, that's when the chuppah took place. A third time is that's already a third time. A fourth time is by the Binyan HaMishkan. It also says that it says when Moshe finished building the Mishkan, it says also Kekala. So Rashi over there also says Kekala. So there seems to be a time that was another type of chuppah. That is number.
Yankel, 1 minute. You have copies? I need them.
I gave it to someone.
She's coming to get it.
She has it. I gave it to him. Anyways.
All right. Rivka.
Again, so the Binyan HaMishkan was a number 4 in the Binyan HaMishkan. Then there's a Gemara in Masechtas Yuma and Nun Dalin. The Gemara says like this. It says when they opened up by the Beis Hamikdash, the Beis Hamikdash Harish, the first Beis Hamikdash, they used to open up the Bereiches, and they show that Kruvim, that they were Murim, Zebazeh, they were like hugging each other, like Azor and Keva, to show the chibah the Rebbe Shem has to Klal Yisrael. This is what happened there. So the Gemara Gufa asks over there a question. It says that in the Mishkan, it said you had to cover up. You had to cover up the Oren, that no one should see the Oren. So the Gemara asked Kasha, what do you mean? Why couldn't no one see the Oren? If over there they opened up burgers, they saw the Kruvim, Murim, Zebazeh. So the Gemara says no. That was like a Kala base Aviyah, where it was Tsunua. They didn't have that close a relationship. By the minion of the base Hamikdash, then the relationship was Kala base Chavel, was a closer relationship. Which the Gemara seems to take on, that was really a close relationship with Chuppah. That is number 5 that happened in the beginning of base Hamikdash. Then there's another Gemara. The Gemara, there's really a pasuk. The Gemara brings, there's a pasuk in Hosea. The pasuk says, "V'hayu b'yom hahu al tikri bali elishi." The Gemara says that's going to be Yemais HaMashiach. And Yemais HaMashiach will be ours, even though the Gemara says could be that relationship happened by the base of Mikdash, but it says after the base was destroyed, the base of Mikdash, that became like a garrison, and that relationship became bottled. But also Lavai, that the Yemais Mashiach will be another time, will be a chuppah. So we have 6 different zmanim where we could have this relationship with your Ben Shalom is in a chuppah. That means that you have a close relationship. There is a different medrash in Bo that says, "Guf on the pasuk ve'irastich li lo'olam." So the medrash over there says, "What's that was ve'irastich?" So that medrash holds that in this world before you was Mashiach, the pasuk, we cannot have that closer relationship. We're not on the level to be that closer to Beit Shalom, but the Moshe Mashiach will be close. So I want to give a bracha to everyone that we should talk and be zeicha to have a close relationship with their Beit Shalom. And thank you everyone for coming and giving kavod to the Torah, not to be chashush.
So Yankel, Yeshiva wants to present you with the kavod.
Oh wow!
We learned kavod mamor.
Yes. Okay, very nice. Thank you very much.
Funny.
Oh.
Can we have the Talmidim who came from out of town, or David Goldstein and or Michal? Can we take a picture? The Talmidim who came from out of town,
Watching and learning from a Rebbe. So I just want to give my Yashikoyach to Rebbe and for everything that I was makabel and continue to be makabel, even though there's several hundred miles apart between myself and Rebbe, but the Yankel Shel Yaakov is still befanai. So Yasher Koyach.
Okay, at this point, we all know the cheshivas of Rabbi Yankel. He's a smada. Nothing has changed since he was 18 years old. As a smada, it's the same as smada. Glasses are the same. But behind every great man, in this case this is the Rebbitzin. There was a story that was when we were in Yeshiva was the Rebbitzin, Ruthie, was giving her Baruch a ride home. I think it was from the Heights or somewhere. And Rebbitzin asked Baruch, "Oh, you want to go to the Beis Medrash? I drop you off in the Beis Medrash?" He said, "No, at home. You think I'm like your husband?" But the smada that we've learned from Rabbi Yankel, I saw it at least, from his father Olav Shalom, Louis, when he used to come, and he used to sit in the Beis Medrash for hours and hours and hours and sitting there learning. The simcha of Rabbi Yankel learning, of chaping by the Gorgel. And even the time that I was in the Heights for a Shabbos and Rabbi Yankel, I was learning with Rabbi Yankel, and he said, "Oh, you have to come Friday night to the house." So after the meal, we go downstairs, we learn for a couple hours with those blue binders, light blue binders. How many of them were there? It was a sale on Gold Circle. That is what we learned from Reb Yankel. And to thank Reb Yankel was, as smart it was, you have to thank the Rebbitzin. How many Rebbitzins would let their husband come home a half an hour before Shabbos and be in the Beis Medrash the whole Friday and not help out? So part of Reb Yankel's godliness has to give credit to the Rebbitzin. So Shkoyach Rebbitzin.
And how was Yankel Yezoichet to get Ruthie as a wife? I'll tell you a few small stories. When I was a young bacher, Ruthie's older than me. When I was a young bacher, she wanted that her brother should grow up to be a B'Tam Chacham. I wanted to show you the Mesiras Nefesh which she had. This is many, many years ago. And I learned Lubavitch, I'm not allowed to say it here in Telshe. I learned Lubavitch. It wasn't Lubavitch, a chassid, I'm a strenge Ashkenaz, I daven Ashkenaz, but I learned Lubavitch. And she wanted to be a Talmid Chacham, so she went babysitting and she made 25 cents an hour in those days. After learning, she sent me to someone in Koil Goraria, that was from Chaim Berlin, the Koil, and she asked the Koilinger man to learn with me. After learning that I should chaz over what I learned that day. And I wasn't allowed to know about it because I would never let her do it. But the money that she made in babysitting, that money she spent on a private tutor. They should teach me that I should be able to learn over the Gemara, that I should know it better. So that was the Mesiras Nefesh she always had. And my father, Allah Shalom, that time when it came to Shidduchim, she said she wants Dafka, a Bacha should sit and learn day and night. And it wasn't easy to find in those days. I mean, today, Koil is a very popular thing. But in those days, it was an exceptional thing to be in Koil. And it didn't go that easy. My father went to the Skver Rebbe, Zikrat Sagel Baruch, the old Rebbe, and he asked him, he says, I have a problem here. He says, my daughter wants somebody should sit and learn Yom and V'layla. She said, what about, I asked her, how about if he should learn a half a day? No, I want a whole day. My father asked him what to do. The Skver, it wasn't popular to Koil in those days, but the Rebbe told my father, he said that, listen, that's what she wants, and that's what Mesiras Nefesh. Hashem's Baruch will help her, she'll get what she wants. So Baruch Hashem, she got what she wanted. So she was zoicha to get a Yankel because of the Mesiras Nefesh for Torah, and the Yankel was zoicha to get her because of her Mesiras Nefesh for Torah. Now, when it came to Shidduchim, I learned that time in Beis Medrash in the Muncie. So there was a lot of Bachim there who learned in Telshe before. So my parents used to call me up and say, Shidduchim, maybe I can find that information. So that time when it came to Shidduch with Yankel, she called me up and she told me to try to find out from a former Telshe Talmud some information about Yankel. So at that time, I had a roommate there, his name was Yankel Rabinowitz. Today he's called the Dinner Rebbe, and he's the brother of the Munkacher Rebbe. So I asked him, Yankel, I asked him, he's also in Yankel, I told him, kannst du mir besorgen wegen somebody in Telshe, Yankel Cohen? He says, Yankel Cohen? He says, I can tell you one thing about Yankel Cohen. He says, Yankel Cohen is not going to be a younger man, but he's going to be a bocher with a wife. So I told him, what do you mean? So he says, Yankel Cohen, he says, sits and learns Yoimim V'layla. He says, he knows nothing of this world except Torah. He says, and I can guarantee you, after he'll get married, he won't let go of the Torah. Usually the same young man gets married, he says, he gives a get for the Torah and he's a Kaddish wife, But he says, Yankel Cohen will stay with his Kedushin to the Torah and his wife will be secondary. I don't know if your sister's, that's what she's looking for, but if she's looking for that, that's him. That's Yankel Cloud. And when they became engaged, there's a minhag tells us that the Kala used to come to the Rosh Yeshiva for a Shabbos, as Kala. The Rosh Yeshiva used to invite to be there for Shabbos, and she was in Telshe Shabbos. So she came to Telshe Shabbos, and I went that time to the airport after Shabbos to pick her up on Sunday, to pick her up. And those days was before 9/11. You could go mamish up to the plane. You know, when you were what? You know, when someone was coming in. And I went to the plane. You know, I was waiting for her to come. And I see some Yidden coming. I see the Yid coming. So I figured if the Yid's coming, maybe it's from Cleveland. You know, if that's the plane that's come from Cleveland. So I go over to the Yid and I say, Shalom Aleichem. I tell him, he comes from Cleveland. He says, yeah. He says, Wem suchst du? I told him, ich suche meine Schwester. Sie ist Russ Fischbein, sie ist a Kalle von Yankel Cohen. So I said to him, you weiß ja schon, wer das ist? Ich weiß nicht, seine Schwester, aber ich weiß Yankel Cohen. So I asked him, wer sind die? I asked him. He said, ich heiße Boruch Zaotzki. So I told him, so he points to himself, that's him. So I told him over the story. I told him, he told me you're getting a very good shvog and everything. I told him, yeah. I told him, I asked information that time, you know, the shidduch. My parents asked me to get information. I asked by this Munkatcher that time. I asked him, what do you say about Yankel Cohen? He told me, Yankel Cohen is sein Kabocha, with his sein kein Gemann, and sein Abocha mit dabei. He liked that somebody started laughing. A good spot. And Baruch Hashem, we see that. And I mean, you know it as good as I know it, but like we made on him after the Chasana, you can pass by, you know, he lived for a short time. He got married at Purim time, and my sister was a teacher in Miss Yaakov that time, so she had to finish the school year. So he came to New York until the school year was over, and then they went to Telshe in June. And I used to pass by his house, no matter what time it was at night, be 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. He had a sforim room that was to the front of the house. That light was always on. He was always sitting and learning. And then another thing I remember that time also was that he was at Purim. I don't have to tell you, you probably know that there's a lot of schnorrers going around in Williamsburg, you know, on Purim. And he was sitting there learning there, and all these guys came upstairs. Pirim Geld, you know, they came upstairs schnorring. And they went over to him and said, so he said, 1 minute, he says, before I give you money, what's lernst du? No, it's true, this is kind of joke. So some of them answered him very nicely, and he spoke to them learning, and some of them were very upset about this. I didn't come here to learn, I came here to get money. He says, without Torah, you're not getting any money. If you want money, say something, and that's it. It's unbelievable. And anyway, so when he used to come in Ben Azvanim, he always came in Ben Azvanim, especially Pesach. He came in always to my parents. I didn't see him for at least 6 months, you know, even for Pesach and Sukkot. He used to come in, Shalom Aleichem Yankel. What's lernst du? I can never speak to him anything. He would ask me, what are you doing? When I'm in Yeshiva, I was working already. I got married afterwards. Nothing about the family, nothing about my business, nothing about how I feel. What's lernst du? That's what he wanted to know, what's lernst du? And if I would tell him something else, anyway, this is how it went on all these years until today. And Yankel didn't change at all. The only thing that he changed is recently he changed his glasses. Otherwise, he's the same Yankel. He's still strong and Torah. Hashem Baruch to help him. And my sister, they should be gesund, and together, both together should be zoiche, gesundheit, to go through a lot of simchas and nachas from the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Ad bias Mashiach Tzidkeinu b'mheira b'meinu. Amen. Now that a chassan says Torah by the Kabbalah's panim, But if he does say, he says two words and he starts singing. But this is something I didn't hear in years and years and years. Yankel came and he started saying a pshatel by the Kabbalah's Panim, and he was going on and on and on and on. I think it must have been something like an hour. I don't want to lie, I don't want to say exactly the time. Somewhere around an hour. Just on it. He never heard a singing by Kabbalah's Panim. And until it came to Rav Gifter was there, he was by the Chasana. So Rav Gifter said to him, Yankel, noch für eine Gruppe heute Nacht. He said, sing genug. The Rosh Yeshiva Yankel stopped, otherwise...